विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पाश्चात्य देशोत्तारिणे। नमस्ते सरस्वती कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram
your cell phones off. Okay. Practice a little renunciation for a little bit. Thank you. Okay. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur would sleep only a few hours at night and get up at 1:30 in the morning. And he would write poetry, songs, prose. Every day he would do this. And every evening or every morning before the sun rose. And during the day he would be a chief magistrate, very important position in government. The British respected him very much. And he raised a very large family, very responsible household. So, waving to everyone? Ajamil would like to wave to everyone. He's very excited that everyone's here. Okay. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, wonderful personality. He's my great-grandfather. And for most of you, he's your great-great-grandfather. And if you read his writings and you read his poetry, you come to know him and love him very, very much. And he wrote beautiful poetry in English and Bengali. So, this is Bulia Tomari. And he's describing here what he's gone through in his life. Actually, although he's a pure devotee, sometimes a pure devotee will play the part of a conditioned soul and describe some of their trials and tribulations so that we can identify with them. And as you will read here, probably not everything that he went through in his life you have gone through. But basically, we've all wasted a little bit of time. We might feel a little sorry for that. And he gives a very nice scope, very nice vision of how one will feel when one is very old about having wasted so much time in one's life. There's a very realistic perception of how one feels, especially one who has embarked on the path of spiritual life but has not quite fully dedicated him or herself to spiritual life. The feelings that one gets, not having done what one could have done throughout one's life. So it's a very, 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 very beautiful expression of remorse. Actually, at the same time, this expression of remorse that he is giving here, it can inspire us to be more enthused, to not waste time, because we still have time left. So it can enable us to become more enthused to not waste our time and to utilize it in the most appropriate way, especially since we've been given so much facility with which to do that. So, we're very fortunate tonight to have Ajamil Prabhu with us. Actually, I'm always very fortunate because we travel together. And everywhere I go, and people see me, they greet me very warmly. And then the first question they ask is, did you bring Ajamil? So we'll be traveling together for the next 7 months. And I'll be able to say, yes, I did bring Ajamil. So he speaks Bengali. This is his native tongue. Anyone else? Native tongue, Bengali. Very fortunate, yes. So when we chant this bhajan, all of you know immediately what it means. For us, others, we have to read the translation, which is beneath the prayer, which is okay. It's not quite as good, but the feeling is still there. So as we're chanting this bhajan, those of you who don't know the Bengali, those of us who don't know the Bengali, we can also look at the English so that we can chant with some feeling. The music will be very nice, the rhythms will be very nice. Even nicer is the bhakti that we can feel when we chant. So if we read the translation alongside of the singing, then we'll feel this bhakti, this devotion. And in order to help us increase this devotion, this feeling, while we're chanting, Ajamil Prabhu will give a brief translation, even though the translation is there. It's special when Ajamil Prabhu gives it, because he knows that what every word means, and he can give the translation a lot of feeling. So, Prabhu, if you can do that, okay, and then we'll speak a little bit more about the bhajan, and then we'll chant it. Yeah, just a brief,
ভুলিয়া তোমারে সংসারে আসিয়া পেয়ে নানাবিধ ব্যথা তোমারে চরণে আসিয়াছি আমি ভুলিব দুঃখের কথা by the mistake actually ভুলিয়া তোমারে I have come in this material world. Now I am suffering so much. Nanabidu Betha, I have so much pain. Tomorrow Charane, now I have come to your lotus feet, at your lotus feet, to explain all the pain that I have. জননী জঠরে ছিলাম যখন বিষয় বন্ধন পাশে একবার প্রভু দেখা দিয়া মোরে বঞ্ছিলে এই দিন দাসে. When I was in the mother room, the mother room is very, very painful. Vishama bandhana pashe. When you are in the mother room, it's very painful, full of pain, the bugs biting you. We all know that. So that time he was praying God, Krishna. And that time Krishna appeared before him one time. And now since I have come, he totally neglected me. I have never seen him again. Why? Why? Now, তখনো ভাবিনো জনম পাইয়া করিব ভজন তব জনম হইল পরিমায়া জলে না হইব জ্ঞান লাভ. Why? That time I promise you that as soon as I born, I will worship you. But when I took birth, Maya jale, the material energy grabbed me, and I totally forget you and merge in the material world. Why? Adorer chela, I like this line. It's applied to everyone. Adorer chele সজনের কোলে হাসিয়া কাটিনু কালো জনক জননী স্নেহেতে ভুলিয়া সংসারে লাগিল ভালো. But adorer chele, when you born in this material world, you become so lovely boy. Everybody loves you so much, and you go one left to another left, and I'm always laughing, oh, I'm such a nice guy, everybody loves me so much. Janani self, and I have so much affection from my mother. Samsara lagile bhalo, and this material world becomes so sweeter for me. I totally forget everything. ক্রমে দিনে দিনে বালক হইয়া খেলিল বালক সহ আর কিছু দিনে জ্ঞান উপছিল পাঠ পড়িও হরহ. Day by day I'm grown man. Then I start playing with all my fellow mate, all my friend, and then I go to university to study, and all the time so much study and education, I become a very, very knowledgeable person. What it is? বিদ্যার গৌরবে ভ্রমি দেশে দেশে ধন উপার্জন করি স্বজন পালন করিয়া মনে ভুলিয়া তোমারে হরি. বিদ্যার গৌরবে, I love this song, this line. বিদ্যার গৌরবে, because I get so much, education, and I become very proud. And to fulfill that proud, I travel this, all over the world for what reason? To make money. That's all the Indian came here. To make money in this country.
Where does it say that?
No, they didn't say that, but it's true. Why we came here? To make money. We have education, best job to make money, and what happened? Sajana palana koriya tumane bhuliya tumare hori, and I start to maintain my family, extended family, totally march on you, and never I totally forget on you. Oh Hari, now what happened? বার্ধক্য এখন ভক্তি বিনন কাঁদিয়া কাতরতি না ভজিয়া তোরে দিন বৃথা গেল এখন কি হবে গতি. Now Bhakti Vinod say, now I am old and frightened. Oh my Lord, everything gone from my life. I haven't served you my whole life. Now I am so old. What will be my fate now?
So there's another bhajan by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur I was reminded of today while reading this. And it's, many of you know this, Udilo Arunadaya Kirtan. And this is the solution. He's lamenting that he's forgotten the Lord. So how to remember the Lord? What's the best way in this day and age to remember Krishna? So in the mornings, very often we would chant this beautiful bhajan. And I know in Navadvip Dalit Parikrama we would chant this bhajan leaving camp in the morning. Very, very sweet, very, very beautiful. And Lord Chaitanya, he would go and do Harinam, Sankirtan, in the mornings to wake up the sleeping souls and remind them not to waste their lives and to chant the holy names in order to remember who they were and who Krishna was and to experience that connection and chant and dance in ecstasy. So, very beautiful. So they would do Sankirtan, Nagar Sankirtan. The mridangas resounded, tatai, tatai, and the jajas. Is that what you say? Jajas. Those are large male cartels. In that kirtan played in time, Lord Gauranga's golden form slightly trembled in ecstatic love of Godhead, and his footbells jingled. Lord Chaitanya called out to the townsfolk, and just as Ajamil was translating, you spend your nights uselessly sleeping and your days decorating your bodies. Now just fill your mouths with the holy names, Makunda, Madhava, Yadava, and Hari, chanting without offense. So what does it mean to spend our nights uselessly sleeping and our days decorating our bodies? Lord Chaitanya is chastising the townspeople like that. In other words, influenced by tamaguna, one will sleep when everyone gets the opportunity a little bit longer than necessary because it's so nice. And your days uselessly decorating your bodies. What does he mean by that? That we sit in front of a mirror all day long? Not necessarily, perhaps. Someone told me once that his sister spent 4 hours putting on her makeup before going out in the evening, so maybe that's true. Does that happen? You know, people...
4 hours too much.
Oh.
Not enough.
Okay. So your days decorating your body, uselessly decorating your body. So what is that? Buying clothes, right? You go to the mall, even if it's window shopping, you know. Oh, that's nice. Oh, look at that. That's nice. Oh, hey, look at that. That's nice. And then all the perfumes. How many billions of dollars are spent on perfumes? Not just the women, the men. They also do. And how else are we decorating our bodies? Well, if it gets a little too old and wrinkly, what do? You get what do you get? A face job or?
Botox.
What do they call it?
Botox.
Botox?
Coloring the hair.
Yeah, coloring the hair. What else? You know better than I.
Change the
The
blood.
nails, right? They have nails stores.
They change the blood also, Maharaj.
Change the blood?
Yes. They go for changing the blood, it's completely young blood.
Ah, Okay.
Middle East people, they have got enough money,
okay.
and European doctors told them that if you change your blood young, you'll be young. So they go. And then change their
Okay.
blood.
Take, everyone write all these things down. So what else do we do? Of course, we have nice cars. They make us look nicer also. Right?
Plastic surgery.
Yeah, plastic surgery. So many different things. So in those days, it was a little simpler, right? As Kali Yuga progresses, and technology increases, then we're advancing more in this art of decorating the body. So he's saying, don't spend so much time with that. Or even, just the mirror, or how much time do we spend checking ourselves out in the mirror? So he's saying, don't spend so much time with these things. Instead, spend your valuable time chanting the holy names. You have achieved this rare human body. Don't you care for this gift? If you do not worship the darling of Mother Yasoda now, then great sorrow awaits you at the time of your death. The same point Bhaktivinoda Thakur is making here also, in a slightly different way. He's quoting Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's saying that will feel horrible at the time of death. He's saying it there, he's also saying it here. And so, do we feel that? Does that motivate us to become more serious, or it doesn't really penetrate? Sometimes it doesn't penetrate and we go on. These words don't change our hearts. Sometimes they do. Like, I met a number of devotees who will say that they were so much affected by this class or that class, or reading this portion of the Bhagavad Gita. Previously they were reading it, but it didn't affect them as it did this one morning. They woke up early, they bathed, they chanted their rounds, they opened up the Srimad Bhagavatam, they read this one passage, and it practically changed their entire life. So that's what we're hoping for, praying for, that somehow or other. Just like we say in Guru Vandana, my only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from your lotus mouth. We pray to the spiritual master. So sometimes we hear these words and we it's like an epiphany. Is that how you say epiphany? This changes our hearts. Yes, right. I accept that. I will suffer so much. Everyone's telling me that. Krishna's telling me that. Old age, disease, and death, it's not very pleasurable at all. But yet, I'm not affected. And who is it? When Yudhisthira Maharaj was asked, what's the most amazing thing? Hani Bhutani.
Hani Gachanti Bhutani Himalaya.
So, the most amazing thing is that everybody's dying. And around us, but yet we think that we're not going to die. Or else, we understand we're going to die, but it doesn't relate to us. We don't live as if we're going to die. We don't live that way. We sort of put it out of our minds and keep living in the present, in the moment, not preparing for the future misery. So how do we prepare for the future misery? We fortify our consciousness. We become transcendental by chanting the holy names and discussing this transcendental knowledge. We can elevate our consciousness to the platform by which we're not affected by the dualities of the material world when we're old. We're not miserable when the body's miserable. Just like I'm remembering Sridhar Swami. Do you know him? Sridhar Swami left his body maybe 8 or 9 years ago. He had hepatitis. And he was not afraid to die. Not at all afraid to die. And he was actually joking. Not frivolously, but he was joking. And I was close to him, and he would say, why is everybody so serious about this? Why wasn't he afraid? Not because he was a fool, but because he was prepared. He was with Krishna. He was prepared to leave his body. And I remember in one instance, we were all in Mayapur together. And he was sick. It was during the Mayapur festival. And at one point, he was feeling so bad that he was going in and out of consciousness. His body was in such bad shape. And his stomach had filled up with water. He was lying in bed. Everybody was called, let's do kirtan, because Maharaj might be leaving his body. And so everybody came and we were doing kirtan. Anybody know the story? We were doing kirtan. Narayani Swami was there, I remember he was leading. And all the senior devotees were there. And we were trying to find a doctor who could help him, but it was a special holiday. And we couldn't find any doctors in Mayapur. And we were putting cold compresses on his stomach. That had swollen up. Putting cold compresses on his stomach and his forehead. And we were looking around for a doctor. Someone wanted to get a doctor from Navadvip, but none of the boats were running. Because it was a special holiday, we didn't know what to do. And some mystic doctor appeared. He said he was a mystic doctor, and he asked if he could help. So he went very close to Sridhar Maharaj, and he whispered something into his ear, and Maharaj said, okay, and then he started feeling his stomach and listening. Feeling his stomach. And Maharaj opened his eyes and said, it's a boy. So, he's about to die. And this was his level of consciousness. He wasn't afraid because he was serving Krishna his whole life, absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Hearing and chanting, preaching, helping others ceaselessly. And then after everybody left, we were together, and he said, why does everybody have to be so sad, serious? This is wonderful. I'm getting Krishna's mercy, and I'm just going into another situation by which I can serve Srila Prabhupada. So that's how we want to be. Right? We don't want to think, oh boy, I can't think about Krishna, my body's hurting me too much, and I'm so attached to this and that, I wish I could live longer, and thinking about so many material situations. We don't want to be miserable when we leave our bodies. We want to be blissful. So many devotees who have left their bodies, devotees that I've known, have left their bodies in such a state because they were practicing Krishna consciousness during their lives, so they were absorbed. So this is how we want to be. Remembering my uncle, who was in the hospital, had cancer. They operated on him so many times. He was so miserable. And I came to see him, and he said, "Do you know any good prayers I can chant?" And that's what he asked me. So it was so nice to see him like that, finally, after him rejecting Krishna consciousness for so long. But just in the final few moments of his life, I was able to teach him Hare Krishna mantra. But we don't want to wait till we're in such a suffering condition. So that's the real challenge that we have. Even though we can enjoy this material world so much, perhaps, so much facility, it's like we were saying the other day, how whatever you want to eat, you can eat, right? Are you ever in a situation where you just don't have enough money to buy what you want in order to make what you want to eat? Nobody's really in a situation like that. And because of that, the supermarket is just filled with so much variety, right? You go down the potato chip row, for example. Right? After a mile and a half, then it changes into popcorn. Then another mile and a half, corn chips. Then you go to the other side for another 2 miles, pretzels. And then, what do I do now? Yeah, I think that's about it for that row anyway. And it's, you just get lost in there. You have nothing to do, go to the supermarket and walk around until you start getting hungrier and hungrier and just buy one of the 10,000 things to eat. And so many things we can do to enjoy these senses. And this world is such a distraction because of that. At any given time we can be doing so many different things. And so it's a challenge to be able to refrain from all the sense gratification and go inwards. So that's why Lord Chaitanya came. What does he say? Yes. With every rising and setting of the sun, a day passes and is lost. Why then do you remain idle and not serve the Lord of the heart? You should understand this essential fact. Life is temporary and filled with various kinds of miseries. Therefore, carefully take shelter of the holy name and remain always engaged in His service as your eternal occupation. Desiring to bless all living entities, the sweet name of Krishna has descended to this material universe and shines like the sun in the sky of the heart, destroying the darkness of ignorance. Drink the pure nectar of the holy name of Krishna, and thus satisfy the soul of Bhaktivinoda. There's nothing except the holy name within all the 14 worlds. So his realization, basically, there's nothing like chanting Hare Krishna. He says there's nothing but the holy name in all 14 worlds. That means from the highest planet down to the lowest, even the heavenly planets. There's nothing like chanting. That's his realization. And so, it's such a positive thing. If we learn how to absorb ourselves in Krishna consciousness, then all these other things will no longer be attractive. We will have won the war against Maya. Now Maya has the upper hand with many of us, defeating us so often during the day. So how to defeat Maya in every round, and how to win the battle, how to win the war. So this is the solution, right here. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, in Bulia Tamari, he's lamenting like anything, and in Udyo Arna, Aunodaya Kirtan, he's giving us the solution. Chant the holy name. There's nothing like the holy name in all 14 worlds. So we're so fortunate to have the opportunity to chant together. So now Ajamil Prabhu will sing Bulia Tamare, and we all have copies. Everyone has a copy? Okay.
সংসারে আসি পেনাবিত ব্যথা তোমার চরণে আসিয়াছি আমি বলিব দুঃখের কথা ভুলিয়া তোমারে সংসারে আসি তোমার চরণে আসিয়াছি আমি বলিব দুঃখের কথা তোমার চরণে আসিয়াছি আমি বলিব দুঃখের কথা জননী জঠরে ছিলাম যখন বিষয় বন্ধন পাশে বিষয় বন্ধন পাশে দাসে দেখা দিয়া মোরে ছিলে দাসে তখন ভাবলু জনম পাইয়া করিব ভজন তব ভজন তব হইল করি মায়া জলে না হইল কেন আদরের ছেলে আদরের ছেলে স্বজনের কোলে হাসিয়া কাটিল কালো আদরের ছেলে আদরের ছেলে আদরের ছেলে স্বজনের কোলে হাসিয়া কাটিল কালো জনক জননী স্নেহেতে ভুলিয়া সংসার লাগি ভালো জনক জননী জনক জননী জনক জননী স্নেহেতে ভুলিয়া সংসার লাগিল ভালো জনক জননী স্নেহেতে ভুলিয়া ক্রমে দিনে বালক হইয়া খেলিনু বালক সহ ক্রমে দিনে দিনে বালক হইয়া খেলিনু বালক সহ আর কিছুদিন কেন ছিল পাঠ পড়িয়া দেশে দেশে ধন উপার্জন করি। ওরে ভাই রে, বিদ্যার গৌরবে ভ্রমি দেশে দেশে ধন উপার্জন করি। স্বজন পালন করি এক মনে তোমারে ভুলিয়া হরি। আরে স্বজন পালন করি এক মনে ভুলিয়া তোমারে হরি। এখন আর বাধাক্য এখন ভক্তি বিনোদ কান্দিয়া কাতর অতি। বাধা এখন বাধাক্য এখন ভক্তি বিনোদ কান্দিয়া কাতর অতি। না ভরিয়া তোরে প্রভু হে, না ভরিয়া তোরে দিল বৃথা গেল, এখনো কি হবে গতি? না ভরিয়া তোরে দিল বৃথা গেল, এখনো কি হবে গতি? এখন কি হবে গতি? এখন কি হবে গতি? হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে, হরে রাম হরে রাম 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 হরে হরে কৃষ্ণ হরে সংসারে আসিয়া নানাবিধ ব্যথা তোমার চরণে আসিয়াছি আমি বলিব দুঃখের কথা Huh? This is
Go ahead. So we have to learn it. So do it again.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. You've done that. People have to put no, this is all different.
So how do we have to
If you like this, I will sing. Otherwise, I will add another one.
We have one Mataji. But
There is only one Bengali Mataji, and she can do that.
Okay, so you go.
Actually, when I was doing Kirtan, there are like hundreds of Mataji. Then we start, you know.
When we go crescendo, then we do that.
No, first in the beginning.
No, also, she's right.
Yeah, also on Kirtan pickup, everybody was doing that also. But we need that video, Swamiji. That's such a nice.
Yeah, we made a video of the festival.
Okay.
Did you record it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Maharaj, let me- let me- Bolo Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Jai Jagadish
Hare Krishna. Last time, actually 2 years ago, when Gunagrahi Maharaj was in Toronto, I was in India, so I couldn't invite him. And another time he didn't have time, so with Srila Prabhupada's blessings, today he's here, and we are all so fortunate that we can get his association like that, with his explanation, with his presence. How happy he is, that tells us how close he is to Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Also, the weather gave 15 minutes trouble, but all of you have come here on a weekday. हम लोग लेट भी हो गए हैं और कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं, those who have come here first time for the satsang, Gupta family with their mom, mommy, Sunita ji, Didi and Ramir Gupta ji. Hari Bol, special welcome. It is so good that Ajamil Prabhu has sang well. I do not know if Maharaj is inspiring him. He is getting better and better and better. Hari Bol. Thank you everybody.
Actually, Maharaj always talk about me, but I have to tell something because he's so humble. He never say himself. Maharaj is a really very excellent person because I'm traveling with him. And when you travel or live with somebody, then you know his personality. He's such an excellent, sweet person. I never can find such person in this world. Very rare to find people like that. And Maharaj really working very hard for South America. You'll be surprised in South America, especially Argentina, economy is very, very weird. Very, very weird. Every second something changing. Now in Argentina, as a foreigner, if you go, you cannot even buy dollar there. They stop it. So it's very weird country, like the economy and all. And from there, Maharaj out of nowhere, he bought a beautiful place, a beautiful temple, huge temple. You cannot be in the middle of the downtown, heart of the downtown. And according to even American dollar value, that property right now over $2 million. So it's so glad that Maharaj is doing that, even though out of nowhere in South America. In at least North America, there are so many hands to help. In South America, there is no Indian community, believe me, not even single soul. So he's doing everything. So if you all help him a little bit, it will be great help in South America. Because I've been there and I'm going every year. So it will be great help for that project. Thank you. And we have some CDs. I shouldn't explain about myself, but it's not myself. This CD is live Kirtan in Jagannath Puri. Maharaj and me, and other devotees. They have 1 week program, and every day we used to go different places, like visiting all the holy places, all the Pastor Lord Chaitanya and Jagannath and our other devotees. And in the evening we'll be sitting and we'll be doing like 3-4 hour non-stop kirtan. So all the kirtan that was taking place and Maharaj recorded, and I think you'll like it. So this is from Jagannath live, just now live came out, and Maharaj gave his heart and soul to produce this. Day and night he worked for this city. So if you are taking, we very appreciate it. Thank you. शरीर विद्या जाओ जलेंद्र अताहे का जीवे फिर जीव से शागरे तार मध्य जीवा होती लोभो महेश्वर मती ताकि जे कटना संसारी कृष्ण पर दयामय परिवारे जीवा जाओ सब प्रसाद अन्न दिलो भाई সেই অমৃত পাও রাধা কৃষ্ণ গুণগান ভেবে দেখো শ্রী চৈতন্য নিতাই জয় নিতাই জয় নিতাই